What's up, everyone? Doyler and Sushi here, and we are back with Sushi's top tips to speed up your tasks as a crew member on the Skeld map in Among Us. Alright, tip number 1 is to speed up those trash chutes. So, tired of waiting for the leaves to fall, holding down the handle, and finally clearing the tasks? Then stop worrying about that. Instead of waiting for the task to load and the leaves to fall to the bottom, get your mouse ready or your finger ready on the right half of the screen and pull down the lever as soon as the task loads up, and you'll be able to save about a whole second on your trash chute timings. So see, you want to be right around here, press and hold, and you can actually clear it in about 2 seconds instead of the 3 it takes otherwise. Tip number 2, stabilize your steering in a smarter manner. So, normally when you have the navigation task to stabilize steering, you'll come down into nav, go to the control panel, and move around this crosshair until it is in the center of the screen, and you complete your task. So, it doesn't take too long, but you can save even more time on this task. Alternatively, what you can do instead of dragging around the crosshair is to just click or tap in the center of the screen and automatically complete this task. Boom. Tip number 3, speed up that engine alignment. So normally when you have the align engine output task, you'll have a task in the lower engine and the upper engine in which you'll have to align the engine output. So this is the thruster for the ship, and you'll have to move it until you get it into the center and complete the task. But if you notice during that last task, you don't have to be perfect with the engine's alignment. You have a fairly large degree of wiggle room when performing this task. So as you can see, the line turns green, which indicates that the task could be completed at about right here. So you have a lot of wiggle room between here and here, in which you don't need to get perfectly aligned like I did last time. Additionally, what you can do is, if you're still having trouble aligning this, you can drag your mouse to the line itself, and it will, as long as you've clicked or tapped on the arrow, it will follow your cursor. So what you can do is you can quickly swipe to the middle, and complete the task much faster than trying to get it perfectly and keeping your cursor on the arrow. Tip number 4, listen to the game and stop waiting for your anomalous medbay samples. So if you have the medbay task to inspect samples, you'll open up the task, hit the green button to start, and reagent will be added to each of the test tubes. Then you'll have 60 seconds for the system to generate anomalies, but listen to what the game says. You don't need to wait for 50 seconds. You can go off and do some other tasks, or just move around so the imposter doesn't kill you. As you can see, your task window will actually keep a countdown timer for you, and once it hits 0, your task will change, the countdown timer will go away, and you'll be able to come back to the medbay and instantly select the anomalous sample. Tip number 5 is to start up your reactor just a little bit faster. So if you have the start reactor task in reactor, you have to play a very exciting game of Simon on a 3x3 touchpad. So you've got middle, and you have to get 5 correct rounds in a row. So you have to remember all 5 sequences. Now this takes a little while, but if you have the memory, it's not too bad. If you want to save just a little bit of time while playing the game of Simon, you don't need to wait for each key press and sound to be noticed by the game, and you can quickly click through them the second the game shows you the next pattern. What this will do is it'll save you a few seconds of A, possibly being killed by the imposter, or B, having to remember those patterns. So watch and see how quickly I'm able to go through the patterns this time as opposed to the last way. As you can see, that was much quicker, and I didn't have to wait for each light and sound to be played. Tip number 6 is to save you just a little bit of time during those electrical tasks. So if you have the electrical task to divert power to a certain room, it will be at this panel right here. The first thing you can do to save a few seconds is to memorize where each of the sliders are for each of the rooms, or at least what half of the board they're on when performing this task. For example, I know that the O2 slider is right around here, So once I open up the task, as you can see, I'm much closer to the O2 task than if I didn't have my mouse or my finger trained in this area. The next thing you can do to save a few seconds on this task is to not worry about how quickly or slowly you move the slider or where it ends up in the end. All you need to do is grab the slider for the room you're diverting power to, quickly slide it to maximize the power, and move on to the second half of this task. So as you can see, O2 is going to be right here. I'm going to quickly swipe it up and move on to part 2 of this task. So once that's done, if you know where each of the rooms are, you can save a little bit of time from looking at the map and just start moving directly to, in this case, O2 to finish up part 2 of this task. Now for part 2 of this task, you don't need to worry about turning the knob or getting anything correct. All you need to do is open up the second electrical panel and click or tap right on the conduit in the center, and it will finish up this task immediately. Last but not least is tip number 7 and the dreaded card swipe in admin. Do you ever find yourself with the admin swipe card task and you're just unable to complete it in a timely manner? First, maybe you go a little bit too slow and you get a too slow error. Or you're one of those people who's in a big rush and you quickly swipe it through and you get too fast to try again. Or you're one of the third people who swipe the card most of the way but don't quite get it all the way and get a bad read error. What you can do is one of 2 different options, the first of which I don't use but I'll show off anyway. First, if you want, what you can do is swipe very quickly to the midway point and that at a consistent pace finish off the rest of the swipe. This should lower your chances of getting a too fast or too slow swipe, assuming you get to the end. So, for example, quickly go to the middle and then slowly finish off the rest. This should get you an accepted and finish off this task. Alternatively, if the quick mid swipe followed by the slow and steady second half swipe is too confusing, complicated, or just doesn't quite work for you, you can try my preferred strategy, which is the swipe back and forth like a madman method. So we've got our admin swipe task again. We head back down onto admin, and we're going to grab the card. This time our goal is to just get 4 or so full swipes as quickly as possible without really worrying about too fast or too slow of a read. So we grab the card, we swipe back and forth 4 times really quickly, and then we're going to let go at the end of the reader, which should give us a successful read and finish the task very quickly. So let's give it a shot. As you can see, that knocked out this task super quickly, and we didn't have to worry about going too quickly or too slowly. Alright, that's going to be it for this one, but be sure to click that emergency meeting subscribe button if you appreciate the tips, or Sushi's going to come out and kill you during your next game.